Hi everyone, this is student midwife Rahel on your screen again from CAF University. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about another interesting topic, and that topic is fertilization. So when we talk about fertilization, what is fertilization? Fertilization is the process by which the male gamete, which is the sperm, and then the female gamete, which is the secondary oocyte, fuse together to form a zygote. And this zygote is going to get 23 chromosomes from the paternal sperm and then 23 chromosomes from the maternal egg to come together, and it's going to give us 46 chromosomes. And this is also known as a diploid chromosome. Okay, so the child is getting like half genetic material from the father and half genetic material from the mother. But how does this process happen, that the fertilization will occur? Okay, so when there is intercourse and then the sperm is deposited in the vagina, the sperm is released into the vagina. Due to the acidic nature of the vagina, some of the sperms are killed, and then this vagina, the normal pH is from 3.5 to 4.7. So due to the acidic nature of this vagina, some of the sperms are killed. And then we know the semen contains a lot of sperms. Every 1 ml of semen contains about 40 to 100 million sperms. Okay, so when those are killed in the vagina, the rest continue the journey through to the cervix. So the cervix also, due to its mucous nature, the cervix has a mucous nature. So this mucous nature will also trap some of the sperms in it, and then the rest continue the journey through to the uterus. So this uterus as well has a phagocytic nature. When we say it's phagocytic, that means it engulfs. So this phagocytic nature of the uterus will also engulf some of the sperms. And we know the sperms are many in the semen, so we still have some left going. That's why mostly when some men are not impregnating and then they do tests, there's something they call low sperm count. You see, when the sperm is not many in the semen, after some has been killed in the vagina and some are trapped in the cervix and some are engulfed here, how many is remaining? So that is what causes some of this infertility sometimes. Okay, so when some have been engulfed in the uterus and then the rest are moving along the fallopian tube, the female reproductive tract releases a fluid. And then what is the function of this fluid? The function is to thin the head of the sperm by reducing the cholesterol molecules in the head of the sperm. And then when it happens like that, it thins the head so that it can be able to penetrate the cell. Okay, and then another function of this fluid is that it increases the motility of the sperm. Because of the flagella, the tail of the sperm, it can also move faster due to this fluid. And then we must note something, that an incapacitated sperm, so this process of the fluid release is capacitation or priming. So an incapacitated sperm cannot fertilize an egg because it has not been given the capacity to fertilize an egg. And then so this capacitation helps the sperms to move along the fallopian tube towards the egg for fertilization. And then our egg has been released from the ovary, and it's also moving along the fallopian tube after ovulation. And the egg doesn't stay for too long, it stays for like 24 hours. And then as it's moving, then the sperm also meets it in the fallopian tube. So this is where fertilization will take place, around the ampulla. Okay, so this our cell has two layers. It has an outer layer and then an inner layer. The outer layer is known as the corona radiata, and then the inner layer is the zona pellucida. Okay, so when these sperms have been able to move and get to the sperm, then to the egg, sorry, they all surround the egg, and it's like a wall that everybody is trying to push down to break it down. So as they are all pushing the wall, then the ones that are able to penetrate through will get to the zona pellucida. And then when the sperm comes into contact with this zona pellucida, it elicits a reaction. And then this reaction is known as the acrosomal reaction. In this acrosomal reaction, enzymes are released, and that enzyme is known as the hyaluronidase. So when this enzyme is released, it helps to break down the zona pellucida. And then the sperm, so immediately the sperms are able to pass through the zona pellucida. The first one that is able to bind to the plasma membrane of the egg, then it elicits two mechanisms. And then these mechanisms, we have the fast block mechanism and then the slow block. So the fast block mechanism is going to change the sodium ion permeability of the egg. And then this is going to also elicit another calcium release. And then this calcium release is signifying the start of the slow block mechanism. So what does this slow block do? It also releases zonal inhibiting proteins and then the mucopolysaccharides. And then their function is to harden the shell of the cell and then to kill the other sperms surrounding the cell. So let's take it like a scenario where you have two doors. You've passed through the first door, the second door, and then the one leading to the sitting room, as soon as one person enters, then the door is closed. Okay, so that's how it is. As soon as one sperm binds to the plasma, it is closed to prevent the other ones from entering. And then why is this important? We have something we call polyspermy. That is a situation where more than one sperm fertilizes one egg. This one, we know each sperm carries 23 chromosomes. So if two sperms fertilize one egg, it's going to give us 46 from the sperms and then 23 from the egg, which is going to cause 69 chromosomes. And this is an abnormality which will not cause the zygote to be viable. So this leads to spontaneous miscarriage. Okay, so that is how the fertilization happens. So after the egg has been fertilized, then it starts moving. We know the fertilization, we said it happens in the ampulla. So after it has been fertilized, it starts moving slowly towards the uterus. And then as it starts moving, after some few hours, it starts dividing. So first it divides into two daughter cells. They are same size, they divide into two identical daughter cells, and then they are known as the blastomen. And then as it continues, it divides into 4 cells. Though the cells are increasing, it doesn't increase the volume or the quantity of the cell. Okay, so it moves dividing into 4 cells, then the 8 cells, and then by the time it enters into the uterus, it gets to 16 cells, and it's now known as the morula. And then this doesn't embed. It continues to divide to the 70th and 100th division, and by that time it is known as the blastocyst. And then the whole process of this cell division is known as the cleavage. And then the zygote and its accompanying cells are known as the conceptus. So although the number of the cells are increasing, it is not increasing the quantity or the volume of the conceptus. So it takes this blastoma and then this conceptus 3 days to move from this side to the uterus. And then by the time you get to the uterus, it forms a 16th cell, also known as morula. And then it becomes a compacted ball. So this compacted ball continues rolling in the uterus till it gets to 70th and 100th cell. And then by the time it gets to the 70th and 100th cell, it's known as the blastocyst. And then it is this blastocyst that is going to embed itself into the endometrium of the uterus. But luckily, we have another video coming for you next week, which is going to teach us about the formation of the decidua, the implantation, and then the embedding. So expect, thank you. Bye.